Get yourselves involved in the comments below. Let us know what you want to talk about. This is your show. It can be anything. It can be doing with WWE. It could be doing with TNA. It could be doing with AEW. It could be doing with, well, backyard wrestling. We really don't care. We'll sit back and discuss it for you. But we have got some topics we'll talk about of our own on this video because we've not been around for at least a couple of weeks, and there's a lot going on in the wrestling world. But our top topic here today is going to be what matches will happen at Wrestlepalooza 2025. So basically, WWE likes to have the 5-match card, and WWE seemingly at the moment wants to go head-to-head with AEW every given opportunity. On the same night, AEW All Out will be taking place in Toronto. WWE have countered this with Wrestlepalooza 2025 taking place in Indianapolis, which shout out to Too Sweet Kyle. He will be in attendance, I'm sure, being from Indiana. But of course, that's give us an opportunity to do some fantasy booking. Think a bit ahead of time and what matches will be on that show. So I've got 5 matches in front of me, Nick Steve. I'm going to go through them, share my little bit of feelings on them, maybe some early predictions, fantasy booking, all that, malarkey. And then I'm going to pass it over to you.
You tell me your matches, because I ain't got a Scooby of what's going to be on this show, and I'll give you a probability of it being on the card.
I like it. So let's go with it. You can give me a score out of 10, and how about the comments can do the same? That way, everyone wins because everyone's getting involved. Yeah. And you can let us know your match predictions on that show as well as taking the other questions. So match number 1, don't think this is a surprise for anybody. John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar came back at SummerSlam after Cena lost the 17th world title, gave him an F5, and probably at the time you're watching this, depending if this is before or after Clash in Paris, Brock Lesnar's probably appeared in Paris and probably F5 Cena again, whether it's costing a match against Logan Paul or after the ring bell. There have been some insider reports that this match has been saved purposely for this show because of the fact they want to go head-to-head with AEW. It's the most eyes possible because they are two household names. There's even been speculative ideas that this could have a stipulation added to it. The most favorite one could be last man standing because Brock Lesnar's famous for those. Last time he was in one of those, he had a goddamn tractor. And of course, it was a SummerSlam 2022. Probability of this match happening for you, NXT out of 10?
10. Like, this is the most obvious one that will happen. Again, I still have the same feeling, though, is John Cena versus Brock Lesnar the match that can rival AEW when it's... I said this before, I don't think it's a worthy enough match. If you said to me a Seth Rollins CM Punk, 100%, absolutely. Brock Lesnar, John Cena, we've seen it so many times before. Is it going to be much different from any other match they've had previously? I very much doubt it, unless Brock Lesnar decides to bust out the tractor again.
Do you think a last man standing match adds a bit of something to this I Quit match? Does a stipulation needed to do John Cena versus Brock Lesnar one more time?
Not really, because it just means that it's going to be like 35, 40 minutes of 1, 2, 3. You know how I feel about last man standings. I hate them. I think they're such momentum and such buzz killers that I just generally detest watching them. And look, there's people out there that probably enjoy watching them, but really, at last man standing match, I'd rather they just have a 4-minute, do you know what I mean, a 4-minute TV match and be done with it.
I Quit?
No, because you don't want even to quit. This is the guy that's just won the 70th title, and this is Brock Lesnar, the guy who's one of the most legitimate badasses on the planet that could legitimately hurt people. I Quit doesn't work for me either. I don't know, something, but I don't know, I'm raging a cage, a slam in the van, don't know, something, just, don't know, be creative, come out and think of something else, just not like a Donnybrook match or something, do you know what I mean? Be creative with it. If this is going to be the last time we're ever going to get this, I don't know, loser leaves WWE or something, and in that way, that's their excuse to write Brock Lesnar off of WWE completely.
Interesting. Actually, I don't mind that stipulation idea because John Cena then would have to retire earlier. That could be a thing of Brock wants to finish him before, but instead Brock loses his own career in the time being. Like that idea. It's a creative suggestion to go through. Let's go into comments quickly. We've got lots of questions coming in, which is lovely to see from everyone. Thank you all so much already. We'll be getting to them in a couple of minutes. I've got 4 more matches to go through. Then it's your turn. Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. Yes, Drew did do the Claymore through Cody's face through the bottom of the announcers table. Cody's been off TV for a couple of weeks now. The match has not taken place at Clash in Paris. Therefore, Wrestlepalooza feels like the right destination, especially if Cody does make a return at some point in France to confront and attack Drew McIntyre. We did speculate on our Clash in Paris predictions that Drew could assist Logan Paul in the main event match, which perhaps maybe Cody could make his return there to make the save. Obviously, Cody would be looking for revenge here, and at this point, I couldn't see Cody Rhodes not retaining the championship against Drew McIntyre.
I'm going to say a 5 just because I think there's a 50-50 chance with this one, because I think you could easily put Logan Paul in the position of Drew McIntyre.
Interesting stuff indeed. Okay, fair play to that one then. Of course, like I say in the comments, if you want to, feel free to judge him with some of your match options as well. Stephanie Vaquer needs an opponent because Naomi is, she's going to be off TV. She's vacated the title. She's pregnant. So Vaquer doesn't have an opponent at the meantime. A opponent and place will be determined at Raw in Paris. So I'm going to guess that Adam Pearce will finalize the details and make the match for Wrestlepalooza for the vacant Women's World Championship. I'm going for Stephanie Vaquer versus Io Sky. Io Sky, of course, recently just beat Raquel Rodriguez on Monday Night Raw. She is the previous Women's World Champion at this point. Rhea Ripley still hasn't beaten her at this point. And Roxanne Perez, I think, did get a win over Io Sky, but Roxy, has not got a flawless record either. Neither's Raquel. So I think Io, for me, is the right candidate at this point to go against Vaquer.
Yeah, for me, probably like a 7.5 for this one. I think the key point is creative and how they get to this match. If not Io, I would say Bayley in this spot, because Stephanie and Io face versus face, you kind of want the heel face dynamic. If they're going to do like a heel Bayley, I would rather see Bayley in this spot and Bayley pick up the title.
Fair. I would not be against seeing Bayley make her way in, unlike what they do with storytelling. In fact, someone get the Bayley question in. That means he has to go through the next versus Braun Breaker, which at one point felt like it was being slightly built towards before SummerSlam, before Bronson Reed started stealing Roman's shoes.
Again, probably about another 7.5, maybe an 8. I think if they want to build Roman and Seth, which is where they're going to be going when that match goes on, maybe Survivor Series, depending on who's in War Games. Again,
to see Breaker win. Anyone that takes on Reigns right now from this group that's not Seth Rollins, I want them to beat Reigns. Show that's got high stakes. Than doing Rollins versus Jey Uso and Rollins versus LA Knight. So for me, Rollins versus Punk.
I'm not going to say 0. I'm going to say a 33 and a third % chance of happening, because it's going to be one of those three. I think, like, just because you've added there that Wrestlepalooza is an ECW event, this might be the replacement for like TLC or Extreme Rules. So you might find all of these matches have got gimmicks tied to them, which, if that's the case, I wouldn't mind this being on this card then, if there is a stipulation tied in with it. Ladder match, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Something where nefarious deeds can happen. I wouldn't be against it.
Do you know, I wouldn't mind seeing a strap match. Punk was really good in that recently, a couple of years ago with MJF. I think that would work quite well with Rollins as well. Can't get away from him kind of vibe.
Oh, yeah. They're just really clunky unless they're done well, and I wouldn't mind it, but I think, yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. Just it depends how they want. Again, it's all down to creative and narrative where they want to go with it. But I'm really up for the idea that this is a stipulation pay-per-view now, and everything has something tied to it that way.
Actually, I'm going to scrap the strap because Punk had that against Drew last year. But do you know what? It led to a Hell in a Cell match. Maybe these two are feeling right for the cell.
Possibly, yeah. The only thing I'd say as well with your card, though, is you are lacking anything that's multi-person. You've got no tag matches, no four-ways, no triple threats. So there could be, although this card is sound and I would love to see it, I think that there's with no tag team titles or a multi-person match, this is kind of feeling a bit like maybe there should be a 6th match on this card, essentially. But look, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be against CM Punk versus Seth in a Hell in a Cell. But again, Hell in a Cell always seems to it's always kind of booked now where it's the end of a feud, and I think that regardless, I still think it's happening at WrestleMania.
That's fair. That's fair. A couple more notes, then I'll just say quickly: get the women's tag team titles, and then if you have to have a multi-person match, get Charlotte and
100%.
Alexa on this card, maybe against either the Secret Hervis or maybe the Kabuki Warriors. But I would just stand on this note here. Why I'd also say, Steph, if occurred to win, this could be a moment that Oscar could finally just cave in on Io Sky and just give up on that friendship, because we are building Io versus Oscar again, and I'm excited for when that feud will eventually go down. But that's my predicted current Wrestlepalooza match card.
Backer again.
It's glorious times. Glorious times. Yeah, we need those promos once again. But now it's your turn, everyone. The questions are in. Keep them coming in. It's your turn. Let's dive in. C Nation Dog in the House says, "What's up, guys? What's up, CD? It's great to have you here." And he says, "The Hardys versus Team 3D match at Bound for Glory doesn't need the TNA Tag Team title, so I'm hoping I can see First Class winning off the Hardys very soon. It could be at the next tapings. I can also see the Nemus versus the Hardys versus First Class, a Victory Road, and Team 3D cost the Hardys there, and First Class win the Tag Team titles." So, very loaded that there, but all in all, are tag team titles needed for the Hardys versus Team 3D at Bound for Glory? I think is the first main question CD is asking there.
No, they're not needed at all, because this is kind of like a last in a lifetime kind of thing. And I think the problem you have if you put the tag team titles on the line is it kind of tells you what the result is going to be. I mean, these two teams could still do that match with the Hardys being tag team champions and them just not being on the line, which I would prefer over them being on the line. So, no, are they needed? Absolutely not. Will they? Possibly. I don't think they should, though.
Will the titles be on the line? Probably. But I agree with CD and Nick Steve. The match is more exciting without titles on the Hardys, just purely because even if the Hardys are seen as the greatest team right now, and that's what they're trying to build the narrative of, if Team 3D cost those Hardys those tag team titles, it just adds a bit of extra spice for their match as well at Bound for Glory. It's not just about respect. It gets a bit personal one more time. And, of course, First Class then winning those tag team titles first makes my boy CD very, very happy, because Rich Swann becomes a Grand Slam champion in TNA. But also, I think First Class are doing good work. So I wouldn't be against seeing those titles change hands.
Only other thing I would add is, how many tag team reigns do the Dudleys have, or Team 3D have?
I don't know about Team 3D, but all in all, over every promotion, 24.
Okay. Well, you have to remove everything that isn't WWE from the lineage. So, because I'm trying to think, the only reason why you would put them on the line is that I know the New Day are obviously the most. I think they've got the most tag team championship wins in WWE. So the only other thing I could think is, if you're going to put those tag team titles on the line, it's either the Dudleys want to push themselves higher, try and catch up, or push themselves further away from the Hardy Boys in terms of tag team title reigns. But it seems like a real tedious thing to even bother putting on as a stipulation, or that being the reason why they're having this match.
Yeah, prefer them without titles is what I think. We'll leave it on there. But yeah, certainly will be interesting to see how it will go down. Do you think WWE will run AEW out of business with competing with them so much? Not a chance. Not a chance.
Prime example, we've just had Forbidden Door here in London, and I think all but a few hundred tickets sold out. They were selling tickets for as low as £31, and it basically almost sold out. I know it's a European crowd and stuff, but look, I said this before, AEW has their fan base. There are people that prefer it over WWE. It depends what your cup of tea is, whether you prefer extreme 5-star wrestling or whether you prefer storytelling with some half decent wrestling some of the time. It just depends on what your flavor of tea is, really. And AEW will be fine. I don't. If I want to put it to a comparison, I don't think AEW will end up how TNA ended up, where TNA were essentially the second biggest company and then fell off the face of the earth, couldn't get a TV deal. I don't think that they go that way. I think they just persistently stay as the number 2 brand.
Yeah, I think they stay persistent number 2 brand, but I think they will become number 1 in certain markets. If anything's to go by, they are probably number 1 in UK right now, I would argue. because
Yes.
they are getting TV references as AEW, not WWE. When people want to mention pro wrestling, it's on a more TV friendly user channel and time slots and stuff like that for the consumer. So I think that obviously everyone has Netflix. There is that, but I think when you look to a TV market, you don't actually have to have any streaming services to be able to see AEW in the UK. So that helps with All Elite Wrestling. But what I would say to answer this question in the shortest way, in the best possible way, WWE left it too late. They let AEW in the door. There was a Jericho, there was a Cody, there was a Kenny, and there was a Bucks, and they've got so many other people in the door since then, and they've just gone from strength to strength. And WWE have arguably left it too late because, like you said, now there is a big wrestling fan base that goes to AEW shows along with WWE shows. Look, it's the second time this year that AEW have got nearly 20,000 bums in seats in an arena or a stadium. They've got 25,000 all in, and this Forbidden Door show, though, I think was just shy of 19,000. They're doing good numbers. AEW, they're not going to go away, and now they're on Max. They're just not going to go anywhere because they're on Max in the USA. You know that when it comes to like 2026, that's going to spread. It's going to go around elsewhere. Not just leave it in the United States. It's going to go to it when those TV deals are available to get to other places as well. You might find, because Dynamite is still on TBS, if I'm not mistaken, along with Max, which is meaning that it's getting higher viewership than Monday Night Raw is on Netflix. And it just goes to show AEW are doing good, bold, strategic moves. Yes, WWE are trying to hinder their numbers, but they're hindering their own numbers in the process, and that's not going to help anyone in the long run.
The proof is already in the pudding because they tried doing it with NXT, and what happened? They ended up moving NXT to Tuesday nights because they couldn't compete with Dynamite. So look, don't get me wrong, that regime was under the Vince McMahon era, where like I think if Vince had been if Triple H had been in charge, then he might have put up more of a fight and would have probably gone a bit more all out. He would have probably tried harder to retain certain stars like a Keith Lee and Adam Cole, whoever, like instead of letting these people go to AEW. But yeah, they've already shot themselves in the foot in terms of going head to head with them. Sure, they can surely do some of the buy rates. I mean, the thing is now is like AEW is now available. Their pay per view is now available on Amazon Prime, which over here in the UK is a massive deal. Like Prime is a great streaming service. Again, it's kind of going backwards with the old sort of pay-per-view buy rate kind of era, but look, there's people out there that will buy it if they want to watch it. And I think the other thing as well, which is probably more important, is cost value. I saw a TikTok video earlier on today. A young girl, she attended, I think, 2 Rev Pro shows, another wrestling show, Forbidden Door, did a meet and greet with Tanahashi and loads of other stuff. Cost her about £450 and that's including her food and her travel and everything. She went to 4 wrestling shows, met Tanahashi, did loads of stuff for 450 quid. And 450 quid won't even get you a half decent seat in WWE and sitting in the arena. You can't even meet a WWE wrestler for 450 quid. Do you know what I mean? You can just afford a cameo.
It's so true. It's so true. And WWE arguably are pricing out the average fan as well, which means.
Please, have you got the photo? Please show them the photo.
I still need to download it. We're full in the swing here. I will do it. We need to get on a topic where I can get it for you. But thank you for reminding me. But we're going to dive into a couple of other questions because, believe you me, Silk, there's about 20 of them currently waiting for us. So we need to dive into to catch up with our chat. Who are your early 2026 Royal Rumble winner predictions? Says Leo. Thank you, Leo, for joining us. Hope you're well, my friend.
CM Punk, Sami Zayn. They're probably my top 2 at the minute because obviously with it being in Saudi, depending on how Sammy's character goes between now and then, he's probably number 1, although I'm still dreaming of a Seth Rollins CM Punk WrestleMania Night 2 main event, so I'm going to say CM Punk is my second one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to agree with that for the men because everyone I think thinks everyone thinks Sammy's going to win, but CM Punk, I think, is a good another shout because for those that watched the other stream that we did this evening, I did predict that I think we're going to get Cody versus Punk at WrestleMania next year as the Night 2 main event. So for that to happen, you could get Punk win the Rumble because Punk hasn't won the Rumble yet either. So you could get two birds with one stone there to actually make that happen. But for the women, I am going to go with Liv Morgan. I think she will return, and I think that Liv Morgan will win the Women's Royal Rumble at this point.
100% someone who's desperate to win the Royal Rumble is Liv Morgan. Like, if you can book it in with a return from injury, 100% Liv Morgan wins that Royal Rumble. I wouldn't even pick another name.
Yeah,
maybe a Stephanie Vaquer.
Maybe, just maybe.
That's dreaming, though.
I'd love to see it. Do you know what Stephanie Vaquer has been mentioned here? Let me see if I can get the comment here. Well, Pierce says Steph needs to be the next world champion. I believe it was actually another comment that came in from Leo. Leo, where's your comment there? Will Stephanie Vaquer be the one to defeat Becky Lynch for the IC title? Which title is Vaquer more likely to win at this point?
I mean, again, for me, every title. Stephanie Vaquer is great. I think the fact that Naomi is injured, if it had still been Stephanie versus Naomi, I'd have said yes, Stephanie could be the one to beat Becky Lynch. But now Naomi's out, I can see Stephanie winning that world title.
I have a feeling Stephanie's winning that world title as well, but I think Stephanie would be a great shout for that IC title if she doesn't win the women's world title, because it just fits. It's the right sort of name. It's the right person to put over. And you look on SmackDown, Julia now as the United States champion, just makes sense to make that happen. But if it can't be, please make it Pop Rocks. I'd love Roxanne Perez to be the one to take away Becky Lynch's title, if not, but probably won't be. But you mentioned that we should get an image out.
What?
Go on.
Sorry, just to add to that quickly, that might actually be really good for Roxanne Perez to win it, just for the fact that if you had Liv to come back and win the Rumble and do Liv versus Roxanne at WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
Because Roxanne gets a decent run with the title then.
And certainly as a women's world champion, I would love to see it. It would be awesome. So go to main event of WrestleMania as well.
I interrupted your train of thought.
Well, just because we talked about potentially pricing out the average fan, you wanted me to bring up a certain picture, mainly because Silt's got a little demon inside. He's always been a Finn Balor fan. And for those that watched Triple R and saw Mr. Iguana get taken away by this little puppet here, this is WWE's official merch. How much does this cost, I wonder? A puppet. Remember, it's a puppet. It costs you 100 UK pounds or $99 US to get this piece of merchandise. Look at this. It's a little doll. It's just a doll.
A joke, man. Like, I wanted one for a laugh, because I thought, if it's like 30 quid, I'll get one. It'll be a cool novelty little thing to get. £100. What the hell are they playing at, man? Like, it's bad enough when you go to these live events and the t-shirts are like £10, £15, $10-15 more than what they are on the website. And it's like, what are we paying for shipping and handling because they're already at the arena or something? But it's a toy, and they want £100 for a cuddly toy. Joke, man.
Absolutely not. I want the real thing if I'm getting that.
You tell me I've got to pay £100 to stick my hand up Finn Balor's backside. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense, man. Like, what are they doing? It's such a con, man.
That's a TikTok short ready to go out. CD says, do you think John Cena's retirement match will be against Seth Rollins or Gunther? He's had both options thrown out. He goes on the...
Look, he's meant to be the future. Should be Bron Breakker. So don't get me wrong, I'd love to see against Gunther. We've seen Seth Rollins versus John Cena before. It needs to be someone he's never faced before.
I think someone he's never faced before. But then again, if it's someone who maybe has faced before, but not been a while and has totally reinvented themselves, Drew McIntyre would be a great shout, in my opinion, to be a final opponent for John Cena. They're both on the SmackDown brand right now. But I do think Gunther might be the guy. Bron Breakker, I'd love to see it, because I think just breaking Cena at this point, and Gunther's been Goldberg's last match earlier this year, so does he need another one? Breakker's who I want, Gunther's who I think, Drew is the outside shout.
Yeah. Good shout.
CD says that WWE should go back to a 7-match format. Evolution did just fine. It says, heck, you can have 6 matches with 1 match on a 3-hour pre-show. Don't make us watch pre-shows. No pre-show. I skipped the pre-show. I do not watch a pre-show anymore.
Bad enough. The SummerSlam one was like 3 or 4 hours long. Why do you need 3 or 4 hours build? Why? Like, what? I'm not like, I get it's supposed to be going up against. Like, I'm sure they were going up against AEW, but like 4 hours just to talk about what you think is going to happen is just so dumb, man. Like, we would never do a predictions video for 4 hours. It'd be stupid. It's just it's dumb, and yeah, I'm so glad we don't have to watch it anymore. I agree, though. I think you could easily get 6 matches on. I think that they do tend to take the biscuit a bit when it comes to those main events and giving them like the third hour entirely.
Yeah.
And because, someone like Roman Reigns has got a 12-minute entrance, and then Undertaker comes out with his like 64-minute entrance. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit ridiculous, but I think there should be a 6-match card.
Yeah, I mean, to have like Evolution, apart from the main event, every match was a bit shorter. And I don't think that hurts to have some shorter matches on the shows. They don't all need to be 25 minutes long, but sometimes you have like these 2 matches that are 25 minutes long, or one that's 35 minutes long, and then the in-between stuff 7 minutes, but yet still the show's 3.5 hours long, which I'm like, how many adverts are actually on this show? It's like more ads than matches. But at the same time that you say entrances take a lot of time, and WWE just has this production thing where everything just has to be spectacular, I guess.
I used to enjoy pay-per-views when there were no adverts. Like, I didn't mind it when it was like, when I remember like Michael Cole doing, this pay-per-view is brought to you by Snickers, whatever, just before like someone's entrance. But now, yeah, it's just such a commercialized product that I don't feel the pay-per-views are almost as enjoyable as they used to be, because there is just so many adverts on them, and it's kind of stupid.
It's all about making that money. And it's nice for those people in attendance to get a bathroom break. I've got to say that from experience. It's kind of nice. It's a long way. But PS says, welcome back, everyone. PS been on both streams. The dedication there. He says Brock Lesnar bringing back the tractor.
Hopefully.
I think it would warm more people to his return if he was to bring the tractor. I'd say that much. So yeah, maybe. If you enjoyed the video so far, by the way, hit the like button. We got plenty of questions left to go, and so we're going to be here a while. If you're going to be here a while, why wouldn't you hit the like button? If you enjoyed it, just do it. It's right there, just below. It makes us happy, please. Mike says WWE is making the same mistake with Tyra May still as they did with Gable Stevenson. She isn't ready and showed it Heatwave. The crowd turned on her. Chelsea Green is the most entertaining person now. Instead of no concerning Chelsea Green, she deserves a huge push. So basically, long and the short of it, I think anyone against Chelsea Green right now doesn't get cheered, because Chelsea Green's just freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's a booking mistake, which is why I'm so glad that they won as well, because the fact that they got a Canada chant going was just insane. Those two are so over. They're so fantastic that, honestly, you need to turn them babyface. You need to put them up against heels, because they're so loved that it's so dumb. Yeah, I get where Mike's coming from, and it was almost like she didn't have a bad showing, but she is going against one of the, or two of the most over superstars on the company. It doesn't make sense. And look, I like Tavion Heights. I think he's a great wrestler as well. It's the fact that you get him USA booed and Canada cheered is just a shocking sight, man. It was really weird to see. But again, props to those two, man, doing some great character work. I absolutely love the pair of them.
My favorite line that I did for my NXT Heatwave short review was "Americans boo Americans." I just loved saying that, because it never happens ever. Tavion Heights though and Tyra May got thrown under the bus on that show, literally, because Ethan Page and Chelsea are so awesome. But I'm gonna say I kind of agree with Mike. Tyra's not ready. She's not. It's not that she won't be ready. It's just she's not been doing this long enough to where she should be on TV yet. I get she's one of the winners of the level of G.
Chelsea Green can take a loss, but taking a loss to someone who's so green is a bit silly.
Yeah, I feel so. It wasn't Alba Fire took the pin last night in NXT.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I believe so. Yeah.
It's not the right time. CD says, I can see First Class having a long reign as TNA Tag Team Champions. Then in case Navarro comes back with Ashanti the Adonis, they could take it off First Class. There has been some big rumors going around that Ashanti the Adonis is of interest to TNA. And Casey Navarro, of course, was kicked out of First Class. No, you've not really been following the TNA Tag Team title scene, perhaps, maybe, but I think CD talks a bit. He's got a bit of knowledge here, and I think that this makes logical sense.
I get, like, without having to do like look into it, I can get where the gist of the story is coming from, and it makes sense in terms of long-term storytelling. It's just a case of, look, you've got to get them titles off the Hardys first, and Hardys are like they're like top dogs at the minute, and they've only literally just won them off of Dolphin, his brother. I forget their real names now. Do you know what I mean? They've only name it, Nemeths. There we go, got it, and I got it in the end. Yeah, they've only just won them off the Nemeths, so get them titles off them two first, and then we can talk about that kind of scenario.
Absolutely. Just to say, by the way, Tyra and Taven Heights, they've really been thrown under the bus here. CD's jumped in on it. Timo cut angles.
Look, I don't understand why their idea was to go the red, white, and blue versus Canada. Like, do you know what? I think you said this to me. I'm gutted that we never got a Canadian United States title, or do you know what I mean? Just a Canada version of the United States title when Chelsea Green was champion. And then I think you suggested as well that Chelsea Green now needs to win the North American title off Sol Ruka, because, I need 2 Canadian titles. And why, as well, that isn't a replica on the store yet, I do not know.
Give it time. That'll also be an arm and a leg probably to buy it as well. But the render's there, at least free from page. But I do need that. I need Chelsea Green to go for the Women's North American Championship. I think that would be quite cool to take that from Sol Ruka. PS says, do you think Brock Lesnar should have returned at the first place at SummerSlam 2025? We did cover this in our SummerSlam review. And I think the long and short of this is no, he probably shouldn't have done it. It doesn't feel like the right time. But we don't know legally what's going on with that lawsuit. So we can only judge on what we do know, which is not a lot. And until we know if Brock is okay or not, perhaps WWE knows something we don't know. But yeah, it feels like the wrong time for him to come back in what we said previously.
Yeah, I mean, they would have done their due diligence to find out whether Brock coming back was an option, which obviously it turns out it was, because he's here. The only thing I will say is that SummerSlam was, excuse my French, a bit of a shit show in terms of no post-panel show, the crowd cheering for Cross and Triple H trying to pirate off as Brock Lesnar. Them then saying that John Cena wanted to face Brock Lesnar, and then Cena coming out and turning around and saying, I didn't want Brock Lesnar. I'll wrestle whoever they tell me to wrestle. There is a lot of stigma about the whole situation, which was it needed? Absolutely not. But again, we go back to the original talking point where they want to go against AEW. And again, I don't think Brock Lesnar versus John Cena is it.
No, we'll have to see how it will go down. But yeah, I think it's definitely going to divide the fan base. Let's put it that way. And it's going to be very interesting to see how it will be portrayed between our Wrestlepalooza. It's a very interesting question there, Pierre. You kind of almost, I feel like it's not been discussed as much since SummerSlam because we haven't seen Brock since then.
That's exactly what I was going to say to you. Is Brock going to get any TV time between now and Wrestlepalooza?
I think Paris, and I think they get away with it because it's international.
Yeah, and it'll probably get a reaction, which the only thing I want to say is that I think he gets the wrong reaction. I think he's got a possibility of being booed out the building because it's a European crowd, and we are fickle, and we will not give a crap what WWE wants. They're going to have to audio dub it with cheers because you know what I mean. The European crowd will quite happily boo Brock Lesnar. They've got no problems in doing it.
They usually use a lot of profanity and swear words quite quickly. So WWE usually has got their finger on the pulse when it comes. Yeah, they'll still be the same chance, just in French. That's all. Yeah, Pierre, you can translate for us. I know Pierre will be able to help us out. CD says First Class should also win the tag team titles before Trick drops the TNA World Championship so they can have all the gold because they're quite pally in TNA right now. Trick and A, as I like to call it.
I still want Trick versus AJ Styles for that TNA title.
Me too. PS says, do you think The Rock is a total hypocrite and only cares about his Hollywood movie based or the fact that he made the heel run of Cena a big failure? Because I do. Hypocrite. That's an interesting word to use for it. I don't know. I think The Rock, if you go with that, so WWE Unreal was a thing. And it appears and implies from that ticket sales were not going so well for Elimination Chamber. 37,000 is what I think they got in the end for that Toronto base club, which I believe you were in attendance for, Pierre, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. The ticket sales weren't doing so well, so they wanted to push more tickets, so they got The Rock on the show, and they tried to think of a creative angle. No one was ever meant to turn heel between Cena and Cody, but they discussed the idea of Cody. Then I think they said it was the wrong way to go. So then they asked about Cena and they kind of went with it. And in the end, they booked a moment rather than booking a long-term storyline. So there was never really going to be a payoff because The Rock wasn't going to be around afterwards. And it didn't really make a lot of sense. And they did imply the way they were talking was the way that we thought it, because we assumed it was like the Rock and Soul connection. But it wasn't the case. It was just the case that Cena just turned heel. And yeah, they just didn't really have a follow-up. Is The Rock a hypocrite? I don't know, but maybe The Rock has got a bit of messing in Triple H's booking. I'm not sure, but I do think The Rock has certainly got a lot of care in his own stuff, because the Cody storyline is completely buried and dead by the way they were going about it when they were booking it for WrestleMania 40. And I mean, Rock and Roman, you can't see happening anytime soon either now.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is they generally they just booked themselves into a corner really, where the Cena turn was probably the only thing they could do, because if Rock was never going to get back in the ring, if again, look, they just had the whole Cena winning chamber just so he could face Cody. Yeah, they just honestly, like I said, they just booked themselves into a corner. Like they didn't genuinely like. I think I said this last year when we were fantasy booking that John Cena didn't legitimately need to turn heel to face Cody. Cody's the idea of Cody Rhodes facing John Cena at WrestleMania would have been the same as Rock Hogan, where you didn't need these guys. You didn't need a heel turn. There was a story in there where you've got this guy who is the current champion, who is seen as the new John Cena, going up against John Cena. And I just think, like you said, that they put themselves into a spot where they're like, oh, well, we're going to do this thing with The Rock, but we have no means of paying it off in the end. And yeah, did they shoot themselves in the foot long term? Yes. Did it pay off at the time? Yes. Pros and cons. They'll take the bite afterwards for it paying off in the moment, because what did they do? They sold out the show because they wanted that. That's what they wanted to do, and that was the whole plan. And like I said, this is why they keep breaking attendance records, because, do you know what I mean? They do dumb stuff like this and charge extortionate prices for tickets. But it worked out for them, which is what they want, really. It kind of almost feels like throwing dirt in the fans' face, really, and be like, we don't care, we just want to make money.
I mean, ultimately, the moment worked. I would argue that heel turn was still shocking to many, and it got the reaction I think a lot of people WWE would have wanted, and still to this day, I think a lot of people would say it's one of the top 10 heel turns of all time in a moment. But if you look at the follow up, it's one of the worst.
Yep.
It's one of the worst.
But it was almost like a Big Show heel turn.
I actually compare it to Austin's heel run from after WrestleMania X7.
Yeah,
he actually did really good work as a heel, but the idea of aligning with Vince and all that stuff went completely tits up, because that didn't last very long. The 2-man power trip just lasted about a month and a half before Triple H got injured, and then they started the whole invasion stuff. And of course, Vince was on Team WWE and Austin was on Team WCW. Just didn't really work. So yeah, the fallout
angle saved that.
Kinda. It did
wasn't
for us.
That very good.
No, it wasn't very good.
For the fans, it saved us. But that's what I mean. We got away with it. But
yeah, it was. CD believes that Roman Reigns' return match will be against The Rock. Could happen. I think it'll be The Rock's last match personally, but I don't know if it'll be Roman's last match. But we'll see. We'll see.
Roman's last match, I think, would be Seth.
You reckon?
It's got to be, because look, it's the longer look. Seth hit him with the chair back. It has to be the one that ends it all, when it is those two.
Could be. I still want to. Yeah, Mox ain't coming back. Sod it. I'll say Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, that's good. That's not a bad chat. Someone else in the bloodline. Yeah,
yeah.
possible.
That's what I'll say for now. Pierre says Steph needs to be the next women's world
Sure.
champion. That's what we want to see. What we want to see. So I want to talk about what I love most right now, says Pierre. The Bailey vignette, just something else. Can't wait to see Bailey in an arena and see the end of all of this. So basically, yeah, it's long and short of it. I guess actually go on to say as well, by the way, I think Lyra will be the first target of the new Bailey based on what happened at SummerSlam. I think you're right as well. And Lyra is having backstage stuff, still concerned about Bailey on Raw. So for those unaware, Bailey is kind of having like these vignettes, and it's kind of like it's almost like a therapy kind of way because she's sitting there saying she's lost, and then she's got Randy Orton style voices in her head. On one side, we've got Hugger Bailey. On the other side, we've got Ding Dong Hello, screw you, Bailey. And to be fair, both you could say into current Bailey are making compelling arguments, and it's going to be what does Bailey listen to? What side is she going to go on? Is she going to actually go back to one of these characters? Is it going to be that it helps her evolve into a new formation of Bailey? Because one thing we know for sure, this Bailey we've seen in the last sort of 18 months or so hasn't connected. It hasn't worked. But the way that they transitioned this on Monday Night Raw in the last 3 or 4 weeks, I'm darn invested.
Yeah, my only problem and my biggest fear is it ends up being like Damian Priest split personality. And that was honestly dog. Like, it was dog water. It was horrible. So, look, as long as it doesn't turn like that, sure. I mean, yes, it's intriguing, but I think the problem with WWE nowadays is when they do some stuff that's really intriguing, more recently than not, it has a tendency to fail, which is why I'm a bit hesitant of kind of being invested and all in for this, and I'm kind of just quietly reserved to wait and see what they do.
What I would say right now is I think it's a safe prediction. I don't think it's a bold statement to say. I think Bailey's turning heel. I think Lyra is going to be that first target. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because are we going to get that sort of ding dong hello, or are we just going to see Bailey snap and just see an angry, almost anti-hugger version of Bailey, just literally just attack people and not maybe almost be remorseless?
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible with WWE, but I think it's just a case of it's essentially it's a gimmick change is what it's going to be, which Bailey's needed probably because although she has been, as soon as she like obviously stopped being the hugger Bailey, she's kind of been the same presentation since. Same sort of black and gold and blue colors, same almost hairstyle cut, same music for the majority of it, and this is generally just what it is. And it's obviously it is refreshing to do it when you need it. It's just how they do it and how they present it, which will be interesting. Look, I said for ages that Becky Lynch needed new music. My God, she's needed it, and now she has new music, and it's amazing how the smallest things like new ring apparel, new entrance music can just do so much for you. Like I said, you add it to these vignettes that have been doing really well and have got people intrigued. By all means, this could be massive for Bailey in terms of going forward for the next 12, 18, 24 months. So, yeah, like I said, hopefully it all works out.
Certainly open-minded to it, and I think certainly hopefully it will lead to good things. Pierre goes on to say, I hope Bailey will play her new Randy Orton style character really good. Hope it will be not be thrown in the trash like the Emelina character was back in the day, suggesting that Neil didn't know how to play it. It didn't go well on that first night of Raw and never came back. So yeah, I have to wait and see. I think they're gonna commit. I think they will go through with it. We're going to try and catch up with some comments. We're currently 36 minutes behind our comment that we're on now, so we're going to need to catch up a little bit. We're going to do our best to now. CD says we need to get a Hell in a Cell match in 2025 before the year ends. Completely agree. Rollins versus Punk, as I said at the start, but it would make sense to be the one of them.
Yep.
Sid and House, Sid, hope you're doing well, says, do you think AEW is better than WWE? I think AEW is much better than WWE. I think you said it comes down to that flavor of ice cream, isn't it, Nick Steve?
Yeah, I mean, more often than not, it's a case of what do you prefer? Do you prefer really good wrestling or do you prefer storytelling? And like you and me have been watching WWE for so long now that we are more on the storytelling side where we get something that draws us in terms of characters and like I've said this before, just like even the Unreal series, although like it wasn't really as mind blowing as it was to see the real side of these people and be able to be like, hey, do you know what? I can relate to these people. I can back these people now. Like, I just find that more relatable, which I think if AEW started doing more of, they probably get a lot of stick for because it's not what they're about. But I think when in terms it would do the same, whereas I'd be a lot more invested in certain people. Don't get me wrong, I know Will Ospreay is the greatest wrestler in the world, even though I never give him the award. But I like it's just what they put on. They can have 5-star wrestling matches every week, but you can only have so many 5-star wrestling matches before I'm like, okay, well, I'd like a story now because do you know what I mean? I can go on YouTube and just pick any five. I can literally type in 5-star wrestling match. Something will come up and I can watch it. I need to have a reason as to why I want to see this 5-star wrestling match.
That's fair. That's fair. For me, I don't say one's better than the other. I think both
No,
throw out different things. There are things that I like in WWE, and there are things that I don't like in WWE right now. There are things that I like in AEW, but there are some things I don't like in AEW right now. Chances are that when I am watching AEW, if there's something I don't like in AEW, I'm skimming through it. I simply don't have time for Collision. I think we've all established over the summer I haven't had time for AEW. I have played massive catch up to get where I am now. I've still not seen all of Forbidden Door, but I've seen about
I
half
haven't
of
seen
that
Double or
show.
Nothing.
I've seen Double or
It's
Nothing. I've seen All In.
Ooh, yeah.
That is, I mean, that's my main hate with it, and this is why I would be reluctant to say AEW is better than WWE because I think in reaction, yes, I would say that sometimes they have these great
AEW
matches that
give
I
you your
think are
value for
better.
money.
They give you better value.
AEW, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. But I think that the shows for me are too long. I would be if AEW did a 3-hour show on a PLE and they just had simply 2-hour shows on the weekly that didn't sometimes get stretched out to 3 or 4 hours with their collisions and sometimes these super summer blockbuster shows that they've got. I think I would be inclined to agree, but there's still stuff that I find myself skimming through on AEW. But again, if I'm
I
watching
do.
NXT,
Yeah.
I will skim through some stuff on NXT as well. It depends on what I'm into at the time, but I like everything. So I like both shows. I'm not going to commit and say one's better than the other. What one do I have more time for and devote more time to is WWE because again, I grew up with it. And also, for me in life, WWE falls on better days.
It's true,
AEW
yeah.
is on a Wednesday, and Wednesday to Thursday is a really awkward time of the week for me to be sitting and watching wrestling. It's usually I have to
Yeah.
buckle out somewhere. So
Yeah,
yeah,
because I can normally catch SmackDown. I can only catch Raw and NXT. Again, because of my week and stuff. SmackDown is a YouTube highlight show for me. I can't remember the last time I watched a full show. And then obviously, um, again because of the way my week works, the pay-per-views and stuff falling on a Saturday and a Sunday work perfect for me. So again, like Dynamite. Dude, can't tell you the last time I watched a Dynamite episode, just because like how my work schedule plays out. I don't have time on a Thursday to watch it, unfortunately.
I'm never normally off to get to be able to see
No.
it. So it's a bit of a shame, really. But hey, it's what it is. But we move on in the meantime. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. It's an interesting topic. Thank you, Sid, for that question. Pierre wants Becca to beat Becky for the women's IC title. Maybe wants to see Becca
Good
two
shout.
belts. Who knows? But who do you think will be the one to beat Becky for the women's IC title? I think this question really depends if Becca wins the women's world title. Because if she doesn't, she has been my pick for a while to win the IC title. If she's winning the women's world title, someone else is winning the IC title.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to sit there and think like who is going around on the main roster now that could do with honestly winning an IC title, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, they've already done the whole like they've done Zelina Vega, they've done Chelsea Green, they've done Lara Valkyrie, and it's kind of like trying to find someone else now to fit in there and win that title. I mean, look, I could easily turn around and go, well, I don't know, let Ivy Nile win it, or I don't know, Maxine Dupree. Like it's all about stories, really. We're at that sort of point where I personally feel Nikki Bella is a filler at the minute, and we're waiting for Becky's next big story. Stephanie Vaquer is probably your best pick if you were a gambling person. But like honestly, at the minute, how stories are played out, it could be anyone.
Really could be. Stephanie Vaquer, like I said, it feels like the most sensible bet. Roxanne Perez is someone I'd be quite happy to see take the throne. Yeah.
Even Rhea Ripley, like just because it's the Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch for an IC title sounds like a killer. Like two of these big high profile names, adding again to that lineage and prestige of the IC title, giving it, do you know what I mean? Building up that title and what the Intercontinental title means in that company as well.
Fair dues, fair dues. Pierre is not interested in seeing Team 3D versus the Hardys at Bound for Glory, and not really interested in Becky Lynch versus Becky Bella either. Sounds like Pierre not really into the legend style stuff. That's fair. That's fair. Not for everyone. Paul says, is Bayley returning to the hug gimmick for what it said at the end of the video? We don't know. We don't know. I'm going to say no.
That hugs too tightly.
And then belly to bellies them afterwards.
Gives you a bear hug and squeezes just a little bit too hard.
Absolutely. Pierre asks, is Logan Paul deserving of Hall of Fame in the future? Currently under celebrity wing, yes. I think that he'll eventually become a Hall of Famer, though.
Yes, but he at the minute he is not a headliner. He's a B+ Hall of Famer at the minute.
Absolutely. Right. This next question needs to be handled very carefully. You're going to know immediately when it comes up from CD. Do we think the Raha Jackson is in the right? Right. So I will take this first if you don't mind, Nick, Steve.
Go for it.
So obviously I'm not there. I don't know everything that's played out. I've seen a couple of clips on social media. I don't see any world where I believe there's any divine right that a person that is in a pro wrestling world where people trust each other to put their bodies on the line, that someone should go in, pick someone up, knock them down, and then smack them in the face about 20 times from the clip that seems to be around on social media, to the point that the person has been hospitalized and on life support, is not okay. Is not okay. And it's not entertainment. It's not anything that a fan should be interested in. I don't want to see, I didn't even want to see the clip when it came on the socials. It's not, you know, but it's there. It's out there for people to see. I personally, in my opinion, do not think he's in the right. In no circumstance do I believe that there is an acceptable reason to do that. But like I said, I don't know all the facts. I'm not there. I don't know everything that played out.
I mean, without the context, I think the only thing I've seen is this was over. Didn't he like smash a beer can over his head or something? Or
is it a gimmick bottle though? It looked like something.
No, it was. I don't know. From what I saw, like I've seen bits and pieces, and from what I saw, he basically, I think the guy hits him across the head with like a beer can, and Raja just no sells it. Like he's just, I don't know whether they previously had a falling out, and the guys, from what I saw, the guys that were backstage when the beer thing happened, they even told the other guy. Apologies, I don't know who the other guy is, but they even told him that he's not part of. He's not. That's not going to work for him. Whatever. And I think the guy actually genuinely apologizes to him. But yeah, like you said, if you're going to jump in the ring and assault someone and put them in hospital, that's not cool, man. That's not tranquilo. That's you can't be in the right if you're going out there to physically hospitalize someone. That's not cool, man.
It's an art form, pro wrestling, and you're putting each other's trust in each other's, what you're putting your bodies on the line. There's trust there. For me, as someone that's just going to take from that perspective alone, trust was broken there, and I don't think it's going to be gained back after seeing that for anyone that's seen that clip.
Yeah, and the thing is, as well, is the promotion has lost its status within WWE as well. WWE have removed them from their ID program as well, so they can no longer be associated with WWE now as well because of this incident as well.
That's a shame for that promotion, but you can't blame WWE for that either.
Exactly.
Sid says Dudley Boys have won a combined total of 10 tag team titles in WWE.
Yeah,
That goes towards their 24 there. You can get the rest of them from ECW, WCW, New Japan, and all the rest. Noob says, so what do you think of the Oscar Io Sky storyline? We're getting some interesting interactions with Oscar and Io, but the majority is Rhea and Io because we want Rhea on TV. So this has been one of my other little favorite things on Raw playing in the background, because obviously there seems to be this slight crack between the Damage Control. That's Damage Control has not been mentioned on TV for a while now. That's almost the thing now. It's almost like the Kabuki Warriors and Io Sky, and it's like we know they were a group, we know they were mates backstage. However, like I said, Rhea's been in the mix, and obviously Io and Rhea have a lot of history this year with the matches they've had, and Io has got the better upper hand of Rhea, and Rhea's just been kind of good about it, if you want, at this point. So it's kind of it's made sense. They've been common enemies trying to win a women's world title, it seems. But in the background with Oscar and Kairi Sane, it's been a fun dynamic, because we're leading to Io versus Oscar. I still think Oscar will cost Io on a big moment, which is why I think Io will be selected to go for that Women's World Championship. And I am of belief that, I think then Kairi then will have a decision to make. She'll side with Oscar. She's kindly still running off to Oscar's corner anyway at the moment, so I don't think it's a surprise for anyone. So I think we're initially building for that tag team match to kick things off. And I think that then will lead future down the line to Io versus Oscar in the singles match. Hell, this could even be the start of actually building up your Women's War Games match for the year.
Yeah. My only problem is I'm kind of getting bored of the hot potato in the Asuka character from being a babyface to a heel. And let's be honest, again, the fact that English isn't their first language, how they do this rivalry is going to be so important. Like, whether it be a case of it's all vignettes and it's all subtitled so people can actually understand what's going on. Like, don't get me wrong, I said I think their promo before, when it was all in Japanese when they were in the ring, I thought was fantastic, because it was just so impassioned. And then when you see that, like, someone kindly adds the subtitles to it after, it's hilarious. But it's one of those feuds where, like, again, I'm bored of hot potato in Asuka as a heel or a face or whatever, and I'm kind of sitting there working like, right, well, how does this then play into, like you said, is this all for the sake of a tag team match? Is it a case of that Io does win that world title and Asuka gets a match and we get these two? I don't know. I find it really hard to be reinvested in Asuka at the minute, and I don't know if it's it probably is a creative thing. Like, she still has great matches, but just like, I just can't get invested in her at the minute. And although these vignettes or these backstage segments have been fine, we all kind of know that Io Rhea is the thing that they're trying to build to in the long run. So again, I'm like, what happens to Asuka afterwards if we get Asuka versus Io? Where does Asuka go? What happens with Kairi Sane? Do they just go back to the tag division, division that just doesn't do anything? Like, they don't put the titles on the line. It never changes hands. Like, Jesus, hot potato, the women's tag team titles. Put some intrigue into that division, because, look, if you want a way to build up some people, just do that. But I don't know. I just find it hard to be involved and intrigued by Asuka at the minute. For as cool as she's presented, and the face paint and the green mist and all that kind of stuff, I'm just like, eh.
Yeah, that's fair. It's fair. I don't have as much interest in Asuka as I used to, just purely because she gets pushed, then it falls back. She gets pushed, it gets fall back. It's like she gets certain way up the ladder and never gets the full, like, brass ring. Even if she's been the champion, it's never felt like she's been the face of the division. So I think that's the reason why I tend to have a slight disconnect. And Asuka's obviously, she's been around for such the longest time in WWE as well. So it's like it's over a decade there. So I mean, for me, I agree. It's a stepping stone for the story for Io and Rhea, like you say, whether it goes to Crown Jewel in Australia, whether it goes to WrestleMania next year, where Rhea finally gets the win over Io. There's many ways they can go about it and stuff. But I mean, like you say, It's an opportunity to do Io versus Oscar in a meaningful feud. It's an opportunity to have the Rhea and Io story play out in the tag team match, and then for them to continue on after. Oscar and Kyrie, of course, definitely will fall back into the tag team division. By that point, maybe Alexa Bliss and Charlotte have had another couple of layers of their storyline go into where they're near a breakup, or they need the Kabuki Warriors as opponents for WrestleMania, or whatever avenue they want to go down. They'll be fine. They always seem to have a place on the roster. I think it's just a case of the fact that the believability of seeing her as the face of the entire division. That's ahead of Becky Lynch. That's ahead of Charlotte Flair. That's ahead of Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. I think those days have passed. It sounds a bit harsh to say she's become Dolph Ziggler, but it feels a bit like that. Do you know what I mean? We just don't believe now she'll be the top gun of that division anymore.
Yeah, and it's a shame because, again, this is all down to previous booking, but I don't know. Do you know what? If anything, Asuka is a perfect candidate to win an IC title or a US title. Something that will give her some sort of credibility that she can go and defend and have decent matches with other people to build them up and push these people to a new level and get them higher up the card. So they need to do something. I mean, like I said, stuck in a tag team in a division that is essentially non-existent because no one cares about those tag team titles.
Do you know what Oscar needs after that? She needs drafting. And we could have Oscar versus Julia for WrestleMania.
Yeah. That would
for
be
the US title.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout because it's something fresh and something new. But again, then you have the whole English isn't first language. How do you present this well kind of thing? I mean, I honestly, I wouldn't be against Asuka going back to NXT.
I wouldn't be against it either. I think it'd be fun for one of the
TNA.
Oh, be interesting. It'd be something different. I'd say that much. Right, NXT, we are 47 minutes behind our latest comment.
Oh dear.
We should try and catch up because I can understand if people's patience is going. We're sorry. We just so good questions. So that's why we're going to try and power through now. Roy says that Thriller TV is the streaming service in the UK. AEW is live on there, which is good to see. Multiple different platforms you see AEW live in the UK. Also, do you think Mercedes Moné should have been the one to say that she was going to ruin women's wrestling instead of John Cena? The fact she's got 9 belts? No, not really.
No,
not really.
If anything, she's just being what she is. She's the boss of women's wrestling. I think the problem is that she really does need to defend these other titles that she has. That's the problem. And obviously, I don't know what her schedule is, but yeah, she needs to defend some of these titles.
I guess she still does these appearances in other promotions. But yeah, being a belt collector is a great idea on paper. It's really impressive when the belt is a trophy and those belts are unified. I mean, she's basically the modern day Ultimate Dragon, I think, is the long and the short of it, really, I'd say, because Ultimate Dragon used to have all these titles.
The big one, though, before she starts losing any of them titles? And to be fair, one of them's not even a title. One of them, the Owen Hart belt is a trophy. You don't defend that one.
No, you don't. You don't defend that one. But I mean, it's just a gimmick at the minute. She will start losing all those titles. She's lost a couple of titles already, so I don't think it's a case of when those promotions want those belts back. But while they're currently being showcased on her, they get their spotlight on AEW TV, and it's a big audience for a lot of those smaller promotions. So power to them. Do we think one day WWE will do a PLE in an amusement park because it could be really cool? WrestleMania 33 had a stage like an amusement park, but hey, if there's enough money into it, WWE will do anything.
Yeah, the only problem is the safety, attendance. It's very unlikely. I think if this had been like mid-90s, I probably would have said yes.
Absolutely. Roy says he enjoyed AEW Forbidden Door much more than any WWE PLE in 2025. Fair play to you. Happy you enjoyed the show. That's what's most important. Pierre says that Sami Zayn should win the Royal Rumble next year. Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania next year.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. I think, I don't know. It's the believability. I've got to have the believability that Sami can beat Seth. And again, I still want CM Punk versus Seth.
Totally understand that, but it's a believable storyline to have Sami Zayn win the Royal Rumble. It only makes sense now because he's gone to SmackDown, which Seth wanted months ago, and then he could win the Rumble and then come back for Rollins. He's just been purposely kept away from him till WrestleMania. that would be kind of cool in itself.
Yeah.
CD says, I consider holding multiple titles in the same time in big promotions as a big deal. Basically, not so much love for those indie titles. Mr. Iguana is CD's favorite in Triple R. I can't blame him. He's got an iguana.
No, Microman's my new favorite AAA wrestler now.
So let's quickly. I did a match card predicted for Wrestlepalooza. Look, I know I'm well behind, but still, Worlds Collide. Dominic Mysterio versus El Vikingo. Number 1 match there. Match number 2, we should have Lola Vice go for the Triple R Women's Championship. I think that's something they should do because Lola Vice has got a lot of momentum right now. We should have Mr. Iguana versus Finn Balor. Puppet versus Puppet. I think that's something we need to see. We then need... Yes, you hear me. We then need to have Almost versus Microman, match of the year candidate written all over that. And then last but not least, I really enjoyed the tag team title match with Los Garza. I believe it was Psycho Clown and Wagner Jr.
Match,
Do another match with those tag teams. Just something, again, a bit barbaric. Maybe a ladder match, something for those tag team titles would be quite fun.
I'd go with Judgment Day versus Psycho Clown and Wagner Jr. Because obviously Judgment Day are Raw Tag Team Champions. I think that'd be. But obviously you've got JD on there going for the AAA Mega Championship. Judgment Day on there and get those 4 together. I think that'd be a lot of fun as well.
Be a lot of fun indeed. So there you are, a couple of match card predictions all in one video. WWE straight up ruined the Demon King character Finn Balor a long time ago. They ruined that. That's why they brought it back as a puppet.
Craftsmanship on a ring post.
Pretty much. Have you watched Triple Mania? The rubber match was incredible, guys, like Microman and Pimpalea Escalata, which is hard for me to say. It is fantastic. I had trouble saying Pimpalea there, and I've watched Pimpalea multiple times in Lucha Underground. That should not be a struggle for me to say. Yet, watched Triple Mania, thought it was a really fun time.
Yeah, it was really, And again, availability, the fact it's on YouTube just to go back and watch at any point was just fantastic. And be able to skip through it easily. No problems with like fast forwarding that. It was great. It was a great watch. That was.
It certainly was indeed. CD says, I need almost a Microman as 8 Triple R Tag Team Champions. Now that is a seller as well in itself.
In my soul, I need that. Yes, 100%. That'd be great.
If not opponents, soulmates. That would be awesome. Racers, WWE is a rip-off for ticket prices. I'd rather pay for AEW or TNA tickets where I can get better shows for my money. I watched WWF pay-per-views on Sky Movies Plus and Sky Sports back in the day in the 90s. There you are.
Wow, yeah.
Good times. The good times. Yeah. Old school fan, Ray. We love that. Proper fan. Love it. PS says, do you think this up-and-coming feud with the new Bayley and Live Akira deserves a PLE match?
It will get
Maybe.
One. It will get one.
Match 3 on the PLE?
Yeah, 100%.
I'd say, yeah. Maybe the feud ender. Maybe the first match doesn't, I'd say. Maybe that's like a Raw main event.
The problem I think I have is, do we want every match going to 3 matches? Do we always need someone to win one, someone to win the other, and then the third being a decider? Can't we just have one match anymore? Just being like, that's it, it's done with until a later date.
Triple H don't know anything else.
No, true, yeah. Remember that time when Vince used to do everything was 2 out of 3 falls? That was a great time.
That's when we needed adverts in the middle of the matches.
Yeah, but no wrestling in the middle of commercial matches because no wrestling in the middle of commercial breaks because
yeah,
stupido.
Paul here says Chelsea Green is not better than timeless Tony Storm.
Outrageous. You pay respect to your first ever Women's United States champion. How dare you? Chelsea Green is a diamond. Tony Storm, what is Tony Storm? AEW Women's Champion? World Champion, that's nothing. Chelsea Green, United States Champion, the best.
I love it.
Tony Storm is fantastic.
I mean, to be fair, put them in a feud. I would love to see it. The character work would be amazing. Look, Timeless Tony Storm was fantastic to watch. The Tramp is still the champ, and all that stuff is just, glorious.
Women's Wrestler of the Year so far for me, man.
She's doing fantastic work. I can't deny it. But look, I enjoyed both characters, and both are really, really over. Reasons. Yeah,
Chelsea Green loves to lose, and she loves to do. She wants to be the first person to ever win a Money in the Bank and fail the cash in. Who wants that? Chelsea Green.
That's why Chelsea Green's money. We have a favoritism towards Chelsea Green, but hey, it's subjective
Always.
of which one you prefer. That's fine. Do you think the feud with Rusev and Sheamus is helping Rusev right now? What do you think of Rusev's run in WWE so far? If you saw those predictions,
yeah. Like Rusev, like we said, Rusev is just—he's doing nothing, and they've put him in a feud with someone that he was doing this with 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's nothing new. It's nothing exciting.
it's just it's boring. I can be honest, it's boring. I'm sure the matches have been fine. The matches are fine, but like you said, I saw this in the 2010s a number of times. And they're going to do the Donnybrook match, which I'm sure is going to be better than we've promoted it to be on our predictions. But at the same time, no, Rusev's run has not worked so far. There's not enough character development for me. I'm hoping.
I tell you what. Do you want to know how to get Rusev over? Put him in a backstage segment with Aiden English and watch the crowd pop for that reuniting.
They
Just a
would be good.
one-off, like bring back Rusev Day, and it will go over massively because it will be like, look, this is a chance for them to correct that, man.
I'm not going to deny that. I'm not even going to try and come with my own idea either. Yeah, do what NXT said there.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree with that 100%. Pierce says, do you think the feud between Damian Priest and Aleister Black on SmackDown is going to help Aleister Black to the next level? Because, man, don't forget, Damian is a former world champion. So this is to the contrary. I've actually quite enjoyed the feud with Priest and Aleister Black. I was disappointed it wasn't on SummerSlam. I do think that this is doing it's elevating Aleister Black. It is demoting Priest a bit, but I think Priest was getting demoted anyway. So I don't think it's harming too much. But yeah, I'm going to say that I think it's been okay.
It only works if Black wins for me. I think Aleister Black needs to win this feud long term, and I think that he needs to go on to a title scene as soon as possible. Whether again be an IC, a US, a world title, whatever, they need to put some gold on him.
Absolutely. Pierre, again, saying Chelsea Green is amazing. Needed to be United States champion once again. Certainly, we do need that. This is Hardy's fourth reign as TNA Tag Team Champions. If it's short, then a lot of people won't remember. They'll just remember the 4-time TNA Tag Team Champions. That's true story indeed. I think Aleister Black should win a championship in WWE, whether it is this year or next year. For me, United States Championship is probably the level for him at this particular time.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's it. I've just piggyback off what I just said. He needs a title. He needs something and a reason for him to be on TV, and they need to start getting him doing promos. And honestly, I want to see him as a top heel. I think that's what they need to do with Aleister Black. Like he's had that babyface run his entire time in WWE. Make him a heel. Make him a big heel.
Absolutely, I would agree. CD says The Rock is ruining the legacy, just like Rikishi, in his opinion. Sid is throwing his friend Reggie under the bus, saying that said that Jade Cargill was the worst wrestler and wants her released ASAP. You should never want people to lose their jobs. Reggie, shame on you. But if you're watching, Reggie, subscribe. But yeah, I disagree with that. There's been worse wrestlers than Jade Cargill. Still a bit green, but there are worse ones out there.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm not going to name drop.
No, I said you can go back and look at many times. Like I famously poo-pooed all over Jacqueline versus I think it was Mae Young because it was an absolutely shocking match. And Jay Cargill has never had a match as bad as that so far. I think we're okay
so far. But yeah, I think you've been okay. She's had some better performances recently. PS says to find the voices of Bailey's head, the hugger Bailey and the heel Bailey is cool. The role model. I like it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad. CD's WWE over AEW. I watch for the storytelling, he says. PS says, can I be honest? I'm not a huge Will Ospreay fan. Not everyone is.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think he's the best character work and the best mic promo, but I think I say that there was I remember one specifically from Wrestle Kingdom when he faced Kenny Omega, and there was a promo that he cut in a media scrum where he was dropping F-bombs on Kenny Omega, and he was like, it was fantastic because it was so passionate and heartfelt. But he can't drop F-bombs every week when he cuts a promo, unfortunately. But I still think he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. Well, the best wrestler in the world.
I think he's best in ring wrestler in the world. I actually think he's CD says not good on the mic. I personally find him quite charming at times on the mic. I don't think he's always the strongest on the mic, but there were better ones out there. But damn it, he had Glasgow in the palm of his hand. We're talking about Greg's and sausage rolls. It's freaking just amazing how like everyone's just chanting sausage rolls.
Yeah.
So look, he has his moments where I think he's a bit of a goofball, and I think it's part of his charm. And it's not going to be to everyone's taste, of course, accordingly. But I think he's a very likable guy when he gets talking, and he just needs to connect that a bit with some of his promo work. But I think with this Death Rider storyline currently going on, I feel that is something that's worked quite well for Will Ospreay at the moment. But we see. Other people clearly disagree, and that's totally fine. We all have our different opinions. PS is the best in ring wrestler. His opinion is Bryan Danielson. It's a fine choice.
Yeah, and the problem is obviously he doesn't wrestle as often, which is why he still is a good wrestler. But I think I say that Ospreay's now out injured apparently. So yeah, I think the most consistent wrestler in the world based on frequency is Will Ospreay. But yeah, Bryan is a good one as well.
Do you know who I think is the best wrestler in the world currently? And this is the full package, in ring and mic.
Oh, hang on. Oh, Seth Rollins. No, go on.
Hangman Adam Page.
Oh my God! What? I get it, and I'm like, as soon as I stopped and you was about to say someone, I was like, you should say Hangman, and yes, I understand. It actually makes a lot of sense because he knocks a promo out of the park, and he has bloody good wrestling matches. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, the whole evolution of his character over the last 5 years to now where he's a world champion is just. I saw Mex WrestleMania UK put out a tweet or Instagram post. I think it's on Instagram. He said that Cody Rhodes is like the kids champion, but like Hangman Page is the adults champion, and it's his champion. And I just was like, so well said. Like, because it's WWE's family, AEW's not necessarily family. And I think that with Hangman, like, there is just a bit more you buy into, and he's all around the perfect baby face. Yeah, I love everything he's doing right now, and for me, he's currently best in the world.
That's what I mean. I mean, when obviously AEW first launched and he was like, "I want to be the first ever world title," I backed him, man. I wanted him to be first world champion as well. Yeah, I know what you mean. He's had such an up and down. He's had an up and down ride. Don't get me wrong. There's been times, but again, not his fault. Where like when he was world champion, his narrative and his stories just seem to go absolutely sink. But everything in terms of being the underdog and building to that point where he'd be world champion. Like even last year when you had him burning down Swerve's house, dude, such a good character work and stuff like that. Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, I can see why you would say Hangman Page.
Absolutely. Who's yours?
I mean, if I'm sitting here, I'm logically trying to think like. The problem is you're sitting there trying to say best in the world, and you're like, look, I can sit here and say, I think Obafemi is one of the best in the world. His character work is fantastic. I find very little wrong with any of his promos. Don't get me wrong, they're a bit tedious, a bit samey, but again, he's on NXT. It's a bit hard to sort of breach out and do anything apart from the character you're doing because it's NXT. And in ring, I think he's fantastic and entertaining. I mean, I probably would have said Seth just because, again, Seth, he has his character work just nailed to a T, and there's very little that he ever does wrong when in terms of character work, and he can have killer matches, no problems. It's subjective, but again, that's why I probably went with. If I said Seth when I was answering your question, I'm probably going to have to say Seth. It wouldn't make sense. Wouldn't make sense if I said someone else.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I mean, Seth's a fantastic in-ring performer, and right now he's the number one heel. He's great with everything he's doing, so I totally understand all of that, really, to be brutally honest. Pierre says AEW Collision should be cancelled. Bit harsh. It says that it's not been the same since the Punk era was over. I just don't have time to watch it. It's not as if I'm not interested in it. It's just I just don't have time. I feel a little bit that Collision, yeah, it's not as good as it was back in the day. It does feel like the B show because I usually see the match graphics of who's fighting and who's meant to be on the shows, and nothing usually grabs me a lot of the time. But then they do do good stuff. Nigel McGuinness is usually on that show as well, which is just entertainment in itself. But yeah, I just don't have time for Collision. It's just what it is.
Yeah, I said it's being on the Saturday night. More often than not, there's normally a WWE event running against it, like an NXT pay-per-view or whatever, that I just end up watching more just because I'm invested more in it. I've seen the build to these matches where a Collision TV taping just seems so nonchalant. And I think the problem as well I find with Collisions half times they're taped. You can find the
Yeah.
results out 5 minutes, like 5 days earlier. So I'm kind of like, what's the point? Unless
Mhm.
someone sits there and goes, "You need to watch this match. It was really good." I already know the results. There's no point.
Absolutely. You know, I'll kind of feel the same with that as well. CD says, Steve, I saw your short prediction videos for AEW. You're doing live prediction videos for WWE. It makes sense because WWE is better. To be honest, it's not the reason why. Again, it's been timing. And I've said it quite openly over the summer, I've not had the time to keep up with AEW the same that I did with WWE. And that's kind of the reason why. And obviously, to do AEW live streams, it's usually a couple of days before the event. Like Thursday's the earliest usually, because that's when you've seen Dynamite. If you've seen it, had time to watch it on the day. Do it on a Thursday night doesn't always work really for me. So that makes it harder. So a short is easier to do. I would love to be able to do live stream predictions for both and shorts for both, but timing is everything, and that's pretty much it. And I know, Steve, you're the same as me. It's hard to keep up with everything, and I think that's the reason why we don't tend to do them. We did have discussion about doing Forbidden Door, but we just didn't get around to it.
Yeah, there's a reason why most of the content is between Sunday and Wednesday.
Exactly.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays. If there is anything ever on there, it's pre-recorded. It's very rare that we do a live. We might do, if, for instance, if we've got a predictions video that we haven't a chance to squeeze in the Sunday to the Wednesday, we might do it on a Thursday. Do you know what I mean? On a very rare occasion, but yeah, everything we normally do is Sunday to Wednesday.
And that's usually the live slots if it's going to be done, because that's usually our time where it fits the best. It's crazy. Yeah. That's just life, unfortunately. But shorts have been working better recently on YouTube, so that might be
when I win the lottery and can retire full time, I'll be available more often.
And that's what we like to hear. PS says, yeah, it's not been the same there. And CD says, WWE has the nostalgia feel. AEW doesn't have that. Not yet, but again, that comes with time. WWE's been going forever, and AEW's just been going for a few years.
I'll give AEW props. They've started putting classic matches up on their YouTube channel now, so that they're starting to show old matches from pay-per-views from years ago, which I think like they're finally learning, like WWE are getting some viewership from this. People will want to see this.
Absolutely. I kind of think it's the best way. And I've seen that Dustin and Cody from the first Double On, I think, is one of them. We are going to power through the last comments in the last few minutes now. I think we can do it. We're still half an hour behind, but I think we can do it. Imagine Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus Rhea and Io for the women's tag team titles. It would be amazing.
I honestly forgot who the tag team champions were until that comment came up. When we were talking about them titles earlier, I'm sitting thinking in my brain, who is the women's tag team champions? That's just how nonchalant they are about those titles. They just do not care. Like, you sat there and thought, put them on Bliss and Charlotte, they do something with them. No.
I mean, obviously Bliss hasn't come over to Europe, so I think they had a bit of a week off there, but hopefully it should click back in once they're back in the States. Fingers crossed. What do you think about Becky Lynch's new theme song? Personally, love the guitar. I'm not convinced by the voice of the singer. Says Pierre, you didn't mind it. You were sort of bigging up to me when we were talking on WhatsApp.
Yeah, I've downloaded it. I've got it on my Spotify playlist. I've listened to it a few times. I think it's refreshing. I've said this before. I don't think you need to necessarily put the Irish twang on there to know that Becky Lynch is Irish, which they have a tendency to do. Like, there's just something in it. I don't know what it is. If it's, I don't know. There's an instrument in her song which just goes, oh well, you're Irish. We can tell from the music. But I like it. I think it's okay. It's not one of the best ones on the roster, but I think it's substantially better than the Man one. I think her old one. She's headed to NXT, for God's sake.
I think she needed to change it. I'm still warming to this new one. I'm not convinced of it yet that it's the right thing, but Maybe a
I
bit of
don't like
time.
the intro where it's like the man has come around. Get rid of that. We don't need voiceovers to introduce people.
They do that with every theme. It's just
Yeah.
what they do. BS says, hot take, thinking the next year, 2026, we're going to say that Raw has the best women's division in WWE. I suppose it depends if there's a draft or not. But yeah, I mean, right now they have a very hot division, but I kind of feel NXT is the best division right now.
Yeah, there's still a few names in NXT that need to come up to the main roster. Blake Monroe, a Jordan Grace need to come up. There is a Sol Ruka that needs to come up. Like, I'm not Sol Ruka's biggest fan, but she's really grown on me the last couple of weeks, and in ring she is solid, and I think on the main roster she'll do well.
Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan, Lola Vice.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
they're going to be.
Just,
I mean,
just to name a few, yeah.
The future's bright for women's wrestling for the next generation. I think is going to be good. But the Raw Women's division is bloody stacked, to be fair. And there's some names that are just currently away right now, which is why I'm going to give NXT the nod at this moment. But in the next year, I think you could be right. CD was glad there was a hot potato with the World Heavyweight Championship from WrestleMania 41 to SummerSlam. It's refreshing to have some shorter reigns rather than just everyone being long. Kind of agreeing with that comment. I think that makes a lot of sense. It's not every title reign needs to be a year long.
Spoiler, Cena. Seth's going to hold that Natal Mania.
Yeah, you've got the long reign kicking in now, CD. Just don't know if you like that or not. He says we need a WWE draft soon because I'm tired of the breaking the brand split. I just want them to do a draft, then we don't have to have another wrestler show up onto another show so badly. So that's a question for you: does WWE need to do a draft at this point?
I mean, look, the draft doesn't mean diddly squat nowadays, does it? It used to be a big thing in the back days where we used to get excited for it because we used to get rivalries that we had or matches that we hadn't seen in over a year. And let's be honest, anyone turns up on any show and it doesn't mean nothing anymore. I honestly, I don't think they'll probably do a proper brand split until they acquire TNA and end up getting TNA on TV, and like TNA becomes their fourth brand. And I think that's when they'll do it. And how it'll work, I don't know, because I would love to see a third or a fourth brand, just because like we just said a minute ago, the rosters are so stacked that not everyone gets TV time. And I think like at least if they bought TNA, you've got like women's tag teams or women's wrestlers or even just mid carders that could easily go to TNA and do something. Do you know what I mean?
Fair. I, for me, feel that there needs to be some changes. I think there's a lot of too many rematches. Like I'm sick of Tiffany versus Nia. Please give me something new. And I would say I think Oscar could do with a move to SmackDown, for example. So there are things there. But if you're not going to do a draft, I think trades should come in more often. I think you should just have like here and there, you treat it like a Monday Night War, like WWE, WCW, where someone could just show up for whatever reason. They've started doing that with certain superstars, but just do it a bit more often, or even have like a transfer window where you can just make changes. I think the draft was like that in 2005, for example, where over 6 weeks you could have one or two people turn up that were negotiated from one show to the other, and that's how they used to find out on that show. So that would be the other way that they could probably do it. Byron says that Seth Rollins must retain the Clash in Paris to have a competitive championship reign. The Fatal 4-Way must be competitive. But yeah, Seth Rollins should win. CD says Chelsea Green's first ever Women's United States champion, longest reigning United States champion, and the most reigns with the United States Championship. I respect her. Do you know what I respect? Absolutely, I respect her as well. About time was Tony Storm. I do get some respect for her, but she did beat the most competitive champion in AEW history, known as Mariah May, for the title. Certainly indeed. Of course, now better known as Blake Monroe. Sid said, I love it when Will Ospreay said, bruv. So did we all. We loved it. And CD's brought in the fun facts. Thank you, CD. This is what we're here for. Did you know that Seth Rollins is a two-time WWE champion, two-time World Heavyweight champion, two-time Universal champion, two-time Intercontinental champion, and a two-time United States champion? 10 title reigns in total, but every title just twice. Amazing, CD. Did not know that fun fact. And do you know what? That fact was fun.
That was too sweet.
It was too sweet indeed. Love it. Roy says, I went to Forbidden Door. I went crazy about Adam Page, one of the best matches at Forbidden Door. And it was there live as well. Of course, that adds to experience, Roy. They're fantastic. Glad you had a great time. And yeah, one match I've not seen yet, but I can't wait to see it. So it's amazing. There we are. Seth says, CD says, Seth is my favorite all-time wrestler. But I'm biased. He's the best in the world. Don't blame me for that one. It's certainly a good one indeed. Roy is asking where we both work.
I do security for multiple places really, but my working days are just long. They're like 10, 12-hour shifts, so which is again why Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays are a no-go for me most of the time.
Yep, I'm working in like a hotel, probably like in a sort of castle estate. Yeah, I'm working as a bit of a host in the restaurants in the breakfast and the lunch departments right now. So very early starts for me. So yeah, that's pretty much my life given to you right now. I never watch a wrestling show live again. W has not been good since the Attitude Era, says Roy there. Yeah, well, I think it has been, but yeah, they have their ups and downs. Always there's ups and downs. Are you happy that Nikki Bella is back and having a match at Clash in Paris? We did touch on this on our what's it called? Actual Clash in Paris predictions video. That's the one. I think the match feels prestigious, but we just don't buy her winning the title. So it's like a bit of yes, a bit of no. Attraction, but filler, I think, is there. So the best Chelsea Green is the hot mess in TNA. Would you agree with that?
No, because I don't think she's ever been more over than she is right now. So I'm going to say this version is the best.
I personally
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, the thing, Chelsea Green's also always been awesome. I don't think there's a time I've not liked Chelsea Green. So like everything's fabulous. I think I'm appreciating the recognition she's getting right now. It's great to see. CD says, I'm glad that Seth Rollins is having a long reign as well. It's my favorite wrestler ever. There you are. There you are. And Pierre asked the question. I think we just answered it. Who's the better, Chelsea Green or Laura Van Ness? We've gone with Chelsea Green. Last question, and it's my question to next Steve, and then we're wrapping things up. So there's been some rumors going around in the last couple of weeks that one Chris Jericho's contract will be coming up soon in AEW, and there are rumors of potentially a WWE return. Are you interested in seeing Chris Jericho have one more run in WWE?
Absolutely. In terms of in-ring, look, you could get one of 4 different versions when it comes to Chris Jericho, but I think that there is unfinished stories, like Kevin Owens, for example, that could still be told with Chris Jericho. But better yet, there are people on there like Logan Paul, Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, who I would honestly love to see have in-ring mic time with Chris Jericho. I have no. I mean, let's be honest. He's coming back regardless at one point because he's going in the Hall of Fame. He's a headline attraction for the Hall of Fame. So he's going in one way or another. In terms of in ring, I'd say yes, just because you don't say no to the biggest wrestling company in the world, really, do you? I know some people do, but when you've got such a history and you have so many memories and you are essentially a part of that lineage that built that company, the guy's going to go back at some point. So I would say yes, 100%. I would love to see him go back.
Do I want to see Chris Jericho come back to WWE? Yes, it's time. It's time for Jericho to return back to where he made his biggest moments, his name, obviously WrestleMania main events, being a multi-time world champion. Chris Jericho went off and did other things. Obviously, took on Kenny Omega in the Tokyo Dome. Arguably is the reason AEW exists. First ever world champion there. He's had stables there. He's done multiple different gimmicks and fun things you probably would have never seen him do in WWE, and it's been a lot of fun seeing them. I think particularly for me, that's particularly one of my favorite highlights, seeing him have that moment with MJF. But Jericho, I think, just got to a stage where it's got a bit stale in AEW. They were saying the mid-card vortex, and for me, I think it got to a point that with the learning tree, as fun as it was in places, because I'm a Jericho fan, I do feel like I was ready to see Jericho do something different. And let's just say the walls of Jericho need to be relocated. They need a paint over. And I think WWE is just the right place because he should retire where he did his best work and made his biggest name. And I think that's the place to be. Like you said, there's fresh opponents for him as well. And it just feels right that that's where he finishes his career and goes into the Hall of Fame. I think it's just right.
Yeah, there is one other question though, is that does he come back with the Walls of Jericho music, or does he make his appearance with Judas, just so you know, because he's already played live at Wembley Stadium to 70,000 people. Why not get a WrestleMania match and be able to perform his entrance while at a WrestleMania? Be the only wrestler to, do you know what I mean, ever have performed their own entrance music at two major wrestling companies' biggest events of the year.
I mean, I think there's an argument that a Fozzy song would definitely be Jericho's entrance theme, because if not, Def Rebel is remixing everything else. So
Oh God,
yeah,
no.
I think there is an argument that Jericho would be able to. I would love to see Judas in
I
WWE.
think Jericho's got some pull though, where he'd just be like, "Def Rebel, go away. I can do my own music."
I think so as well. I don't think there's any doubt Jericho will have some influence in his own music, and like you say, he's probably performing it himself. So whether it's Judas or another track, I can see that certainly being the case for him in WWE. And I'd personally love to see. He's still one of the greatest on the mic, and I think he would just be. He fits the WWE family style. He still has some high star rated matches from Dave Meltzer as well. He's had some good matches in AEW in recent times. I just think as well, currently, with now the fact he's coming to the real latter stages of that career, he could just be, dare I say, protected as the sports entertainer under the WWE umbrella a bit more.
His return debut would be just as big as his original debut in 1999.
I'll make a bold prediction for you right now. Jericho will return to WWE in the 2026 Royal Rumble.
I like it. I like it.
We'll clip that if it ever happens, but we'll have to wait and see. There are a few comments that have come in on Chris Jericho, and then we will wrap things up here today. Pierre says, I am interested in Jericho having one more run in WWE, as long as he has a good character, because he knows how to reinvent himself, but the Learn Tree gimmick was terrible, so not for him. But of course, there's been Inner Circle Jericho, Appreciation Jericho in AEW, but of course, we've had the list in WWE, we've had the Suit Jericho, we've had Rock and Roller. There's been so many different variations of Jericho.
Give me Chris Jericho and Ethan Page.
Oi, yes.
The Canadian boys, yeah. I now want a Canadian faction with Chelsea Green, Ethan Page, and Chris Jericho.
Do you know what? I think they'd make it work really, really well.
100%. Should be the best.
It would be amazing.
Yeah. NWO for life, no. Canadian faction for life.
We'll have to clip a bit of that, I think. CC says Jericho should just retire already. Personally, not a fan of seeing it. Said the sad thing is, though, that Jericho Owens is that can't happen because Kevin Owens is injured, and of course he's going to be out for a long, long time. Says he may not wrestle again. We'll have to wait and see what will happen. And also break down the walls. And then generic music is incoming. CD, no, please make it Judas. Make it Judas. Or break the walls down. Don't give us Def Rebel. Also, Jericho will stay with AEW in Paul's opinion. And Pierre says Ethan, Chelsea, Kevin, and Chris is a Canadian faction. That's perfect.
That's such a heel faction. It's so good. I would love to see that.
I just sign me up.
Throw Sammy in there as well. Just get them all in there.
It's a Canadian takeover. Gotta love it. Yeah. Pierre says also want Paige back in WWE as an in-ring competitor. She's currently taking a year out, but who knows? She might make a one-off appearance in WWE. She would be great for a Rumble as well.
Yep, agreed.
It would be indeed. CD, thank you very much for saying great stream. Thank you everyone for watching. Look after yourselves and each other. This has been a nice lengthy Q&A. It's good to be back, everybody. It really is good to be back. Check out the Clash in Paris predictions if you haven't seen them already. Thanks to everyone that's been with us for 2 live streams tonight. Some of you have been. Bless yous. You've been spending a lot of time with us. We thank you dearly for that. For those, if you've been watching, please hit the like button, share with a friend, subscribe as well. Anything else you want to discuss, let us know in the comments below. We'll happily answer those questions. In fact, the last one from Paul says, will AJ return to WWE? Maybe. My answer is maybe. Fingers crossed. We'd like to see it. We would like to see it one day, hopefully. A Rumble maybe would be a good place to do it. Roxanne Perez, singles match, Evolution 3. Take care, look after yourselves and each other. We'll see you next time.